Welcome to the wilds of tropical North Queensland. We'll share a more official welcome to country a bit later on in the show. I'm spending time in the Baroon Gorge National Park, where I expect to be appreciating it from its treetops all the way down to the waterline as I go adventuring today. Also coming up, a four-wheel drive that mixes adventure and indulgence.
I've been waiting to hear how you went.
It was a lot of fun and I did it.
Kip leads a dodgy tour around Brisbane.
That's Kangaroo Point. Yep. Famous for kangaroos. There's kangaroos everywhere there. You'll see them just going nuts. No, not true. Not true.
But first, we're heading to the bush.
Well, but before I get to going, I got to say, no, you used to love me, but that was yesterday. Well, the truth.
When you're an outback kid dreaming of musical stardom, the bush seems a long way from bright city lights. But these talented young musicians are narrowing the distance. They're a part of Central West Music Makers, a chorus of music-loving youth based in Longreach.
The performance group's probably about 12 kids, but we've got about 60 on the book.
Nicole Alexander is mum to teenage Lily and a volunteer with this very cool community program. It brings outback kids together with professional musicians in workshops and weekly jam sessions held in an old shed.
Central West Music Makers started out as a couple of kids who had a mentor, Mick Lindsay, and Harrison and Sealy said, wouldn't it be great if some of these mentor programs could happen for all of the kids in Longreach and across the Central West?
But what began as music lessons for kids in the bush has become a much bigger deal.
Really an eclectic group that probably knew each other's names, but didn't really form very strong bonds. Through their music they really have. They're really a tight-knit group.
It's a good bond, like we've sort of all been through thick and thin together. There's been times when we've all had like screaming matches in the shed because we've argued over a song, with sort of like that sense of family in a way. I'm currently living in Longreach, but I did grow up on a sheep and cattle property about 100 k's out towards Aramac. I guess it's good at times, but other times it does get boring because it's such a small town. A lot of the time it's good to just go down to the shed on a Wednesday afternoon. It's just like a completely separate world from everything else.
And that world has launched Lily and other Central West music makers into the spotlight. These teenagers now perform regular gigs at tourist attractions and festivals.
We've got some really great raw talent in this group. Probably those 10 to 12 kids would have each other's backs through anything now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd consider the music makers like another family. Yeah, I couldn't do a lot of things without those guys and gals.
Tane Beatty Smith's first love is music. His second, making things grow.
Yeah, music and gardening, that sums me up. There's not much else.
Tane spends every morning tending the Longreach community garden he helped to create.
Definitely an escape from the hustle and the bustle. No, there's a lot of hustle and bustle out here, but...
When his green thumb isn't in the ground, it's strumming a tune. And thanks to Central West Music Makers, that happens a lot.
Yeah, it's good as. We get heaps of good gigs. Definitely heaps of opportunities through the Central West Music Makers that you wouldn't be able to get normally out here.
Sometimes these opportunities come out of the blue. Tane and Lily are packing up their instruments for the big drive to Brisbane.
Given the dry times that are on out here at the moment, something like that, everybody's really doing it tough and having to hold back on supporting community organisations. So any help is really appreciated.
This time, help has come in the shape of scholarships to Australia's leading new music festival.
What they're really looking forward to is going to the Big Sound conference in Brisbane that's run by Q Music. They're going to do a little bit of busking there and they can't wait to perform in that space.
Ain't nothing you can say.
After the break, the Central West Music Makers hit town and I take them on a tour. You probably haven't seen rain for a while. No.
I danced in it the other night.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Snake eyes on a paradise, and we got to go today.
From the outback to the River City, it's been a big journey for the posse from Central West Music Makers.
Hey guys.
Hey, how are ya?
Welcome to Brizzy.
Thank
Good to see you. Thanks, man. Hey, mate. Good, thanks. You guys ready to jump on the City Cat?
You bet.
Let's go.
Lily, Tane and a handful of fellow music makers are in town for the 17th annual Big Sound Festival. More on that later. But first, a little sightseeing.
That's Kangaroo Point. Yep. Famous for kangaroos. There's kangaroos everywhere there. You'll see them just going nuts. No, not true. Not true.
Welcome to Kip's Dodgy Tours. Sketchy facts, guaranteed.
Is there a story behind the Story Bridge?
Story behind the Story Bridge. There should be, shouldn't there? Yeah. Built in '56. Also, not sure if that's I don't know when it was built.
Yeah, history, not my strong suit. But I do know that downstream from the CBD is one of Brisbane's oldest rose gardens in beautiful New Farm Park. And I reckon Tane's green thumb is twitching right about now.
That was lovely.
So that one there, mate, is the rosa. It's the tea-scented yellow rose out of China.
Oh, out of China?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just knew that.
Yeah, just knew that. What's this? Nice little piece.
Moving right along, next stop on Kip's Dodgy Tours is the old Brisbane Powerhouse, a power plant for performing arts in the city.
But you can see like all the old beams here and everything, that's all original because this actually used to be a power station.
Oh, you're joking?
That's a true story. I've lied about a lot today, but that's not one.
There's always something on here, music and theatre, exhibitions.
Yeah, so there's lots of arty stuff around.
They're cool.
Ah.
Now, playing tourist is fun, but playing music is the real reason these guys are in town. The Central West Music Makers hope to make it big at Big Sound, the new music festival that presents fresh talent to the public, promoters and agents.
So do you remember the moment when you got the call saying, guys, we want you to come to Big Sound and we want you to play?
And I was very excited to come down here, and when we found out we were busking, it was just more of a purpose to come down, like we weren't just sort of filling in with the crowd, we were actually doing something of our own down here.
Yeah.
Made it worthwhile.
Yeah. And it's not just you guys that are performing. I noticed that your mum actually had to get in the car and drive you all down here today. It's a lot of effort from everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Speaking of behind the scenes, the guys are giving us a quick tour of their own. Big Sound's epicentre is Brisbane's Fortitude Valley, with 18 live music venues. The Zoo is one of them, and by day, it's the green room for Big Sound artists. Country rocker Mick Lindsay is here to back up his young proteges from the bush.
You know, the talent came in so raw and so undeveloped, but, you know, they had it, you know, but they just needed some structure. So, you know, there's limited opportunity out in regional Queensland, and there's an abundance of opportunity here in the Big Smoke.
And these young kids wouldn't have that opportunity without this guy. Joel Edmondson heads up Q Music, the entity behind Big Sound.
And this is your baby, isn't it?
It is. Q Music has been delivering this event for 17 years now. So it's gone from being something that was originally about the profile of Brisbane and Brisbane music, and now it's a global event where people are coming to see the future of Australian music.
And speaking of the future, what about our young guys that have come here from Longreach? Like, this is an awesome opportunity for them, obviously.
It goes to show that it doesn't matter where you're from, talent shines through.
Make a date in your diary for Big Sound 2019. And for younger artists, Little Big Sound is on in Brisbane this November. When you're next in Longreach, check out Central West Music Makers, bringing down the house at Smithy's Outback Dinner and Show. And you'll find more on these talented young kids from the bush when you head to our website.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
See ya, we're making tracks. I love sand driving, and on Fraser Island there are so many places to explore that are surprisingly accessible. So find out where this track is taking us after the break.
Fest Italia. The one-day celebration of all things Italian is on tomorrow at Newmarket in Brisbane. It kicks off at 11 a.m. and has a jam-packed schedule that includes world-class entertainment, football, glass blowing and, of course, incredible Italian cuisine. For all the information, head to the Festitalia website.
Adventure, indulgence. Adventure, indulgence. What's a girl to choose when she has the chance to take an island holiday? How about both? Let's start with adventure. My friend Roberta and I have left our hubbies and kids at home so we can explore Fraser Island. We would have signed up for the beauty spots tour that leaves Kingfisher Bay Resort, but Ranger Annie suggested we try driving ourselves, and that Lake Mackenzie is a nice place to start.
It's about 14.5 kilometres drive, but the tracks will be really good. We've had some good rain overnight.
So you don't have to go far to see a lot.
You'll be amazed what you're going to see today. I can't wait till you get out on that journey.
We didn't bring our own wheels, but you can hire a four-wheel drive and get some good advice from the Aussie Tracks team at the resort.
Now, tyre pressures and wheel hubs. The wheel hubs are always locked on this vehicle, so you won't need to worry about that.
I'm happy to be the designated driver because I'm more comfortable on the soft stuff. Now, as long as I've known you, you've had a four-wheel drive.
Never been off-road in my four-wheel drive.
Ever?
Never.
Ever wanted to?
Always wanted to.
Is there a bit of a fear factor there?
Yeah, I don't think I would never do it without Ben, but hopefully that changes after our trip today.
I think it's the knowledge. You just need the knowledge and then that gives you some confidence as well. This is pretty nice driving. It's actually pretty fun. And we are in the middle of nowhere, but it's a pretty great track to be driving on.
Oh, there's some stuff on Lake Mackenzie here.
What does it tell us?
Fraser Island's list of lakes is impressive. Oh, it says here Lake Mackenzie's the most visited lake.
And no wonder.
Look at the different colours.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. You can imagine when people from overseas come and see this for the first time.
I can't believe how white the sand is.
I know. Look at your amazing blue toes in this water. They look a bit too good to be true. As for mine, I think they might need a little bit of help. The sand here is soft and fine and useful. So forget chemicals. This is the absolute best way to clean your jewellery. And I love that you can say that you did it here. Look at that. It's brand new. Just hang on to them tightly because if you lose them in the sand, you'll never see them again. Righto, L plates are on. All yours.
Hope you got your sports bra on, Vic.
Really, it's just slow and steady and keeping the car on the tracks. You know, if you follow those tracks in front, it'll feel a lot calmer. And it sounds odd, but you almost walk it through.
This is so much fun.
When the scare factor goes, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Nice work. Woo. Yes. Roberta's reward for taming the track is the treat I promised earlier. It's a pamper session using natural Australian products at Island Day Spa.
We went forward driving today, so my hands are very tense.
She had white knuckle fever. Just gripping so tight. So Nadine, if I wanted to linger longer, I could stay for a massage?
You certainly could.
The spa's in the centre of the Kingfisher Bay Resort complex, surrounded by accommodation options. They include hotel style and plenty of 2- and 3-bedroom villas, some with their own hot tubs. There are also beautiful executive houses available for families and groups of friends to rent. It's just a short stroll from the resort buildings to the jetty, which is a very popular spot for sunset drinks.
Hello! I've been waiting to hear how you went.
It was a lot of fun and I did it.
That's great. I'm so glad. And no hiccups?
No, it was fun.
I think I absolutely have to raise a glass to you because you completed your first adventure.
Thank you.
Well done. If you fancy a girls' trip or any sort of group getaway to Fraser Island, then you'll need to speak to the crew at Kingfisher Bay Resort. We have the link to their various tours, itineraries and accommodation options on our website and contact details for Aussie Tracks.
So, Victoria, how do you think the boys are doing at home with the kids?
Pardon?
You know, boys, kids, home?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't hear you over the bubbles. There's a lot of them.
Nairamba, welcome all to Dindon. This is the home of the Jabbergai speaking clan.
Athelbrim is a Bullumba ranger. He's one of the guardians of Baroon Gorge National Park on behalf of the Jabbergai people. Athel's ancestors were the first to create trails from the coast to the highlands, and he grew up hearing stories about Budaji, the rainbow serpent that created this landscape.
His fondest way to go to the tablelands to trade nautilus shells, so he decided to go this way here, and he created the river system all the way up to the tablelands.
It's some of the world's oldest surviving rainforest, and National Parks Ranger Lyndon Henry is part of the team that created hundreds of metres of tracks, so we can appreciate it. This walkway, you're gliding over the top of the rainforest. It's, you know, you're sort of getting a bird's eye perspective, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's a sort of a semi-canopy experience where people can see from the understory right through into the canopy and the intermediate in between and what goes on. The park itself is about 2,900 hectares.
Which is pretty small, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As far as national park sizes go.
But there's a lot here to see.
There's a lot here to see with the train and Skyrail, and we've got a significant walking track network.
One track leads over the Kuranda Scenic Railway line to an iconic view of Baroon Gorge. Must look amazing after a bit of rain here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Just the sheer volume of water coming over, the falls dropping at 250 metres down and all the way out to Lake Placid and out to the ocean. Just the rush of air it's coming off. It is amazing.
The power of that water is what I'm counting on for a Baroon River whitewater rafting adventure with Raging Thunder.
Okay, that is your seatbelt. Kick that under something in front of you and it's real hard to come out of the raft.
Baz Goes Hosi is one of a handful of guides who's leading us downstream.
An international grading standard is from 1 to 6. Yeah, 1 being like a fart in the bathtub, grade 6 being like Niagara Falls, something like that. You know, we're doing a grade 3 today, 3+. Get down, get down, get down. We're gonna smash down through some rocks. We're gonna hit some white water. We're gonna get completely drenched in amongst the water, in amongst Mother Nature, bro. It's gonna be cool. Okay, hold on.
They call this rapid Rooster Tail, and it's probably the most difficult section.
And everyone go, yeah, we made it!
There's that, but a lot of the time our paddle is just a really cool and relatively relaxed way to experience the wet tropics.
Have fun is the most important thing about rafting, you know. We'll look after the safety side of things, your techniques. You're gonna have a paddle, you know, so you're gonna make you the engine of the boat. You're gonna be muscling this big bit of rubber that's, you know, 14 foot long, around about 100 kgs with a group of people and just trying to maneuver through all these rocks. Forward paddle, back paddle, hold on, get down, and a bit of in there somewhere, you know. So we'll see. Yeah.
I'm too short for this. Eventually, the river spills us into Lake Placid, which is convenient for me because I'm staying at the Lake Placid Tourist Park. It's surrounded by rainforest with plenty of its own greenery and shade. The park caters for campers, caravanners, and people who travel with nothing more than a suitcase. It's hard to believe that all this is less than half an hour's drive from Cairns. Now, if you'd like to holiday in this part of the world, be sure to check out the Queensland Weekender website for details of where I stayed, what I did, and a link to National Parks information. While you're online, check out our mates at Queensland.com and Queensland Rail Travel. And remember to keep tagging your pics to pop up in the show. You'd think I'd seen enough of this river, but this is a great spot to see out the end of the day, and it's right across the road from the tourist park. That's all the time we have for you on this week's episode of Queensland Weekender. We'll catch you this time next week.